I grew up on the Disney afternoon. Hell, I was watching Disney TV cartoons before the Disney afternoon existed. I saw the Wuzzles in its original run. Hearing that the original DuckTales, along with Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, and others will be on Disney Plus, that pretty much secured my subscription. So if anyone is going to be critical of a Disney Afternoon reboot, let alone one of the most famous Disney Afternoon series ever, it's gonna be me. And this thing passes every single test. The 2017 remake of DuckTales is not just a great cartoon show. This thing defies every single criticism against present-day animation TV and Disney in general. The claims that comedy is dead, animation puts no effort anymore, and of course that reboots absolutely can't work. But this thing, from David freaking Tennant's portrayal as Scrooge McDuck, to the show being even more in tune with the Carl Barks comics, to yes, even revealing that secret that everyone wanted to know, this show may actually top Kim Possible and Phineas and Ferb for me. And make no mistake about it, this is more than just a DuckTales reboot. They've essentially rebooted the entire Disney afternoon and put it into one shared universe through one single series. I could have gone with any number of episodes that reflect that, but this is the one I feel is the absolute top of the list in that regard. So let's get into From the Confidential Case Files of Agent 22. We start with Huey, Dewey, and Louie doing nothing but watching a marathon of their favorite show. Yeah, the boys don't really have a huge role in this episode, and I'll leave it to you to determine if that's a good thing or not. Mrs. Beakley is tasked with cleaning up after them, but then she gets distracted by something else.
Greetings, Agent 22. Black Heron.
She was abducted by ninjas! Ninjas! Call the cops! Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, after the awesome as always intro, we cut to Scrooge being a bit put off because Beakley never showed up with his morning tea. Fortunately, Webby is there to prepare it just how he likes it, since she knows everything about him. Yeah, Webby's a bit crazy in this version, and pretty much everyone says she's better off for it. Yeah, I've heard all the comparisons to Mabel from Gravity Falls, but I never got into that show. Scrooge and Webby see the mess in the kitchen, and the sight of one lone black feather gives Scrooge an idea as to what happened. And then we go to a flashback, where we see that years ago Beakley was a secret agent for Shush, you know, the spy agency from Darkwing Duck. She's been tasked to stop one of Fowl's secret agents, Black Heron, and for this case she's been assigned a special partner.
McDuck. Scrooge McDuck. Had a late night catching that pesky Jack the Tripper, and there was some celebrating afterwards. You mind returning these to the Queen?
You know, I'm sure they were probably going for a James Bond parody, especially given that Scrooge is Scottish like Sean Connery. But this whole setup has Get Smart written all over it, and that grants the episode 100 extra points. Much of the remaining episode is cutting back and forth between the present, where Scrooge has gone to find Beakley and Heron, only to have Webby stow away with him.
Action Kane? That black feather? Those coordinates? That can only mean an Agent 22 McDuck spy adventure!
And back to the past with Scrooge and Beakley, where we're told that Black Heron is trying to acquire a page from something called the Great Book. Huh.
Legend has it that the high priests of Castle Dunwyn were mentored by mystical creatures from the nearby glen. Creatures with untold powers.
Those creatures look familiar. Obvious reference aside, the back and forth storytelling does a really good job here, showing how Scrooge now has to keep Webby from getting too out of control on this mission, when he was the one out of control on the previous mission with Beakley. Speaking of which, when those two reached their destination on the previous mission, guess what Scrooge noticed?
Strange berry bushes. They don't look native to the island.
The direction this thing is going couldn't be more blatantly obvious, and yet the fanboy in me has as much pent-up excitement as, Well, Webby. I also love the irony that in the flashbacks, it's Beakley who's constantly nagging Scrooge about protocol, and yet she was the one that got captured by Heron. Old habits die hard, I guess. So through an old film projector Scrooge and Webby find, we finally hear what Black Heron's grand master plan was.
You're making a bounce serum. The untold powers of the ancient creatures is bouncing.
Yes, they'll be bouncing here and there and everywhere. Mass destruction that's beyond compare.
That's right, people! The secret weapon is gummy berry juice. If this isn't the most awesome thing in this entire show, it's only possibly topped by making Don Carnage a singing pirate. Yes, that happened. In the present, Heron surprises both Scrooge and Webby, and then uses Webby to get the exact gummy berry formula from Beakley, but thanks to Scrooge's mind games, Webby knows just what to do. And that's what leads to this.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Webby!
I love it! I'm like a super mega rubber ball of death!
You know, I really can't do justice on how ridiculous and awesome this fight scene is. You're just gonna have to see it for yourself. And yes, I know in the original show, gummy berry juice only made the gummies bounce and gave everyone else super strength, but this is a new continuity. I'm not going to gripe over that. That's what makes this whole series great. It makes little changes as such in order to fit these references into their own canon while still being a great shout out to the original source. So Black Heron is defeated in a way that sets up her possibly returning, of course. We get one more flashback that shows Beakley defeated Heron those years ago by basically doing the same thing Webby did, and how this was the start of a beautiful friendship between her and Scrooge. And the episode ends revealing that Webby snuck the remaining gummy berry juice with her, which hasn't yet been brought back, so that's just one more thing to look forward to in Season 3. This episode is to me a microcosm of the series at large because it was clearly made by people who knew about the original Disney afternoon and knew what they were doing. I've made some critical comments about fan fiction in previous videos, but if you want to see something that could have originated as fan fiction but blossomed into an actual great show with polished writing, watch this thing. It contains the love of Disney animated TV of the past while making tweaks when needed to help craft its own identity. There are two main reasons the new DuckTales is great. The incredible ongoing stories and character development, which maybe I'll get to another time, and these tie-ins to all of Disney's other shows of the past. These combined is why I look forward anxiously to see what they have in store next with this series. Just keep Schnookums and Meat out of this show, please.